Tennis is one of the oldest sports in the world, originated from France. It soon spread across Europe, starting with England, and now, although many well-known matches are being held in Europe, it is one of those sports that almost everyone knows how to play. Frequent betting made tennis an easily corrupted sport. Many cases of match fixing has been reported, and the unreported ones are still hiding behind the laws. Majority of the corruptions taking place in the tennis industry are particular groups that give players money to lose on purpose, so that they could dominate the betting money that was on the opponents. These types of corruption in tennis doesn't just happen in small scales in small national tournaments, but are also prominent in international scale tournaments, such as the Wimbledon tennis tournament. Our expert, Alex, will be talking about some of the cases and evaluate the severity and the seriousness of it.
Welcome to a segment on tennis corruption. Corruption in tennis, some would say, surely not. And to a certain extent, this is true. But when looking on the web for proof, we came across one or two websites displaying the proof, proving that corruption in tennis exists. And after looking and reading through it, it became obvious something wasn't right. The first bit of evidence that something was wrong was the number of alerts to shady matches. Tennis authorities had made a stance that there was minimal, even no corruption in their sport, but in recent times they have conceded that something may be wrong. The number of alerts to fishy matches in 2012 was a mere 14, and no one was worried. That's just the expected. Yet this number skyrocketed to 249 in 2016. This surely proves that something is going on in tennis. And this is not the only worrying fact. After a joint investigation by BBC and BuzzFeed, Spanish authorities arrested 34 people related to suspicious activity or corruption in tennis matches. This number included 6 players of the sport tennis. And if you're not convinced, I'll tell you more. The Tennis Integrity Unit, ITU, handed out 9 sanctions to officials and players involved in corrupt conduct in 2016. And now comes the question, why? Why are players and people doing this? Here are the incentives. Male players ranked outside the top 100 struggle to make ends meet playing at a lower challenger and futures level tournaments. Their prize money can be as low as $500 or $98 for a first-round loser. A match fixer may offer upwards of $3,000 to $15,000, which outshines the minimal amount of prize money that these players outside the top 100 earn. And so clearly, it's a clear incentive as to why players would go ahead and do this. It is, they need the money. And so now you're probably wondering, how can we stop it? Well, one welcome change is to increase or create prize money for lower levels of the game to tempt rising stars from the clutches of corruption. So instead of offering $98 for a first-round loser in a challenger or future level tournament, you could offer $300 to a first-round loser, and the main prize winner could earn, $5,000. Another one is, since individual authorities in their respective countries do little to tackle the problem, the ITU could step in or has stepped in and create the anti-corruption body. So, to conclude, we cannot eradicate completely this corruption in tennis, but we can tackle it with clear steps to minimize it. And so, if you want to, you can join us to help us fund the tackle against this corruption. So my sources in this were theconversation.com and the tennisintegrityunit.com investigations and sanctions. I hope you found this segment informative. Back to you, Jason.